Yo, what's going on, good people? All right, the day has come. We are doing the 14900K build. So of course, 14900K, 24 cores, and I think 32 threads. So it has 8 P cores and like 16 E cores. Yep. We have the Mag Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. This, and actually has some RAM that I'm not using. That came bundled from Micro Center. Really good deal. We have the contact friend that I ordered from Amazon to go with the 14900K and the board to use for the cooling. And speaking of cooling, we have the Lian GA2 Trinity 360 AIO to cool this beast right here. We also have some Cryonaut Extreme Thermal Paste. We have a 1 terabyte 1990 Pro Samsung drive, one of the fastest Gen 4 drives that we have out. And then I already have this RAM, 32 gigabytes CL30, 6,000 mega transfers. I know it says Expo on here, but it does have an XMP profile if you don't know already. So we should be good to go. Shout out to Seasonic for sponsoring part of this build today. They supplied the power supply. This is the new GX1000. This is ATX 3.0, PCIe 5.0 compliant. Yep, and this comes with the 12EH power, high power cable directly. It's a 16 pin. That's going to go with the Beast, the RTX 4090 Founders Edition. And I got some extra fans, and we have the NZXT H6 Flow case, and I'm actually going to be using, so that case comes with 3 120 millimeter fans for intake. So I got a 120 millimeter fan for exhaust, and we're going to use these 240 millimeter fans for intake at the bottom. Okay, so we'll go into that a little bit later. As you can see, that's my main gaming PC that's in the back, 7800X 3D with the 7900 XTX. And of course, if you didn't catch this video yet, just pick this bad baby up, the OLED panel. Yeah. It's the Alienware AW3423DW. This is a beast of a panel. We got the live wallpaper that's on the background on that. So make sure you check out that video. And also make sure you check out this video. That system is amazing. So yeah, we finally get a chance to be able to do an Intel build. It's been a while. The last Intel build I did on the channel, I think it was a couple of years ago. I think it was like, what, 11700K, something like that. But yeah, so it's been a minute. So we're gonna have another gaming PC. Sooner or later, I'm actually going to get around to putting this into my streaming PC along with this 7950X. So yeah, we're gonna do a slight upgrade, probably in about another week or so with that. Let's get started with the CPU, motherboard, and the RAM like we always do. I will put links to every part in the description below if you want to try to do this build. See if you could be able to get some deals. When you hit the links, it helps out the channel. So yeah, check it out. Let's get started. Okay, first thing we got up on deck is the Mag Z790 Tomahawk Wi-Fi. I think this is maybe my second or third Tomahawk board. My first is Z790 board. So let's see what comes in the box. Like I said, this came bundled. This is not your top of the line Z790 board. I know I normally get top of the line stuff, but this came as a bundle with the 14900K, and I couldn't pass it up. So let's see. I think this was like in the bundle from Micro Center. It was this board, still a beautiful board, blacked out. This, and then the actual RAM kit that came with it, which is like a 32 gig CL36, 6,000 mega transfers. So it was like $699, which you can't beat that. This chip by itself is like retails like $570, something like that. So basically, I pretty much got like the RAM free and a super discount on the motherboard. We're gonna rock with this, see the type of performance that we get from it. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty dope. I think we still have, 4 M.2 drives. M.2 slots on here. I think this board gets up to about 7,200 mega transfers on the RAM. Pretty much a standard board. It comes with a lot of fan headers, which I actually need in this particular build. 2 8 pins, got a good VRM. If we look at the inputs actually really good. HDMI, DisplayPort, you got your clear CMOS button, flashback which we will need to use in this particular build. So I'm glad I just thought about that. This is not the newest Z790 board, so we definitely got to do a BIOS flashback update to the latest BIOS so we could be able to support the 14900K. But we got all the actual USB ports, USB-C. One of these ports is USB 4.0, Thunderbolt 4.0, whatever the case. USB 4. We got the Wi-Fi 6E, and then we have 7.1 channel surround sound on audio, 2.5 gigabit LAN. We're looking pretty good. Just your standard stuff. We got the Wi-Fi antenna, SATA port connectors, extra M.2 switches, basic stuff that comes with this. Go ahead and get the motherboard on top of this. So first things first, what we're going to do is actually replace the contact frame. So I picked this up from Amazon. I think it was like for 17 bucks. Definitely worth it when it comes to using any of the 12th gen, 13 gen, 14 gens with the LGA 1700 socket. This will definitely help with the temps. For some particular reason, when they made these, the actual frame starts to bend the CPU, cause issues, with like cooling and stuff like that. So in here, it comes with thermal paste that we're not going to use, but we got the Allen wrench. We have the contact frame that's made out of metal. So it's pretty good. There's a thermal grizzly one that's like 45 bucks, but they pretty much work the same. So save you some money. 17 bucks, Amazon, can't go wrong. So first time working with the newest Intel chip. First time working with a 790 Z790 board, but they're all the same, right? So there's 4 screws and they all unscrew fairly easy. And then we're going to use these same screws to put in a contact frame. So once I have all of these unscrewed, I am going to pick it up and I am immediately going to put the CPU in the socket. And that's because I don't want to mess up any pins. So as soon as I take this off, I'm going to put the CPU in the socket. Okay. And see, I did not realize that the lever, hey, I'm glad I'm doing this. I should have lifted the lever first. So hope I didn't break anything. Man, y'all caught that in 4K. How about that? Where's the other screw? And I hope I didn't damage any of the pins. Oh, the other screw is right here. So yeah, let me just go ahead and, man, I hope I didn't mess up any. Learn from my mistake. I should have lifted the retention pin first. I was not paying attention to that. The pins look okay. So hopefully we don't have any issues. Good God Almighty. Let's go ahead and unbox. Let me just lift that up. Let's go ahead and unbox the 14900K. Oh my gosh. So this is actually pretty dope. Whoa. Beast of a CPU. 14900K. Caught in 4K. It has a little arrow that's right here. And which matches here, down here. So when you sit this down, should go a little bit like that. Boom. Looks just like that. All right. Whew. Boy, that thing scared me though when it popped off. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It scared the bejesus out of me. My God. We're gonna reuse these screws. But you got to make sure that you keep these in your motherboard box just in case if something goes wrong with the motherboard, you need to put this back. So that's that. We got the contact frame, and we're just gonna sit that on top, and we're gonna take the screws. So yeah, that looks pretty dope. We're gonna take the screws and drop these in, tighten them back up, and we should be good to go. And you could do this in a crisscross fashion if you choose. And that's the contact frame. Super simple. All right, so let's kind of straighten up some of this stuff, get it out the way. And then let's install the M.2 drive and then our RAM. Okay, it's time to go ahead and put in one of the fastest Gen 4 drives, 990 Pro. I'll never forget, first time I saw one of these, I was like, man, this thing like a stick of gum. That was like the going thing, right? Looks like this is a one-sided chip, but this thing is like dumb fast. Oh, look, it has a switch, so you don't need to screw anything in except for these. Now that's crazy. So you have screws to take this off. Why not just use like the little switch so it lifts up or pop out? It's so crazy. So excited to do another build. There we go. Did not realize I had that backwards. We got the RAM. I already had this RAM kit. This is back when I was playing around with the 4 sticks of DDR5 inside the X670 Aorus Elite AX. But ever since I got the Crosshair Gene board, that only has 2 RAM slots, and so couldn't do the 4 anymore. So these just been sitting in the box, and we're going to use them on the Intel board. So of course, you know, you're going to use the second slot and the last slot for these. I would say it kind of differs on the motherboard that you receive, but from all the motherboards that I've been working with lately, if you're only using 2 sticks, then it's the second and the last one. Snap in just like that. You know, with these, you know, don't wiggle these. Don't wiggle them in. Just force them in, and you'll be good to go. Boom, just like that. Okay, next thing we're gonna do here is actually open up the power supply. Again, shout out to Seasonic for sponsoring a part of this video by supplying us with the power supply. This is the GX1000. Again, it comes with the ATX 3.0, PCIe 5.0 compliant system. And with this particular one, it definitely comes with the 16-pin 12VH power cable that we're going to be using with the RTX 4090 and 4000 series and beyond. And yeah, this is 80 plus gold. I've used Seasonic in pretty much all of my builds. Latest gaming PC, I have the Seasonic Vertex. I'm using that currently. And then in my streaming capture PC, I have the older GX 850, which I'm actually going to upgrade that to they actually gave me 2. And so next week, when I put my 7950X in the Aorus Elite AX X670 board in my streaming capture PC, I am going to upgrade that power supply to the GX 850, which also is ATX 3.0, PCIe 5.0 compliant. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm going to be using that next week. But for right now, we're going to use the GX 1000 for the 4090 and the 14900K. So what I am going to do now is actually take out the cables that we need. I actually need to do the BIOS flashback so the 14900K can work. So what I need to get out of here is the actual 24-pin power connector. Oh, Seasonic stuff is always live. So we got the power cable here. You know, all of the parts will be listed in the description below. So if you want to pick up any of these parts, definitely hit the links. Helps out the channel. These come with 10-year warranties, and I never had an issue with any of their power supplies. So yeah, this is dope. I think this is like 100 and I know it's bigger than 140 millimeters, but yeah, these things are dope. And as you can see here, it's fully modular. So the 12VH power 16-pin connector is here. We still have the CPU and PCIe connectors, 24-pin SATA power. So yep, you got everything that you need. So while we're in here, I am going to grab, man, let me tell you, I'm so happy that these cables, like the way that they're, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, with the way that these cables are braided now, and I can only speak for Seasonic, but if you saw my other Seasonic power supply video with the Vertex, it uses the same braiding, and it's so flexible. They look great. Arguably speaking, I think the only time you really need to get the custom cables is if you're trying to change the colors, because these are dope in itself. So yeah, shout out to Seasonic for coming through with yeah, it's the same cable. Man, shout out to Seasonic. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I love the way that these cables feel. Yeah, okay, so here we go. Here's the 24 pin connector, so we're gonna need that real quick. And where's the 16 pin? I want to take a look at that. You still have your 8 pin PCI, and it comes with 3. So even if you're not using the 4000 series GPU, if you're using an AMD or 3000 or older, you still have, it comes with 3 8-pin connectors as well. All right, so here is the 16 pin. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this to the side. Covers up to 600 watts. I'm gonna set this to the side real quick, and let's do the BIOS flashback. Make sure everything goes right with that. And we can finish this thing up. Okay, so best thing I always do is to actually go on to, like, in the box, it did not come with a motherboard manual, but I went to MSI's website, and as you can see, I pulled up the actual digital manual, and it tells you, I searched for flash BIOS button, which is the same word that's on the back of the motherboard, and it gives you the directions. So it tells you to download the latest BIOS, which we did. So as of today, it shows the release date was November the 8th, 2023. This includes, now the version says 7D91VH9. And the description says updated CPU U-code, updated secure boot mechanism, updated OC auto rules, P-core beyond 6 gigahertz, feature optimized with the i9 CPU, which is what we have, Intel APO function optimized. We'll get to that a little bit later. But so this is the latest BIOS. So I downloaded this already. I put it on my jump drive. But the directions, it says right here. So it talks about, it says rename the BIOS file to msi.rom. So I'm about to do that. But it also says that connect the power supply to CPU power 1. So we're gonna connect one of the CPU power connectors to the power supply, and then also the ATX power. So that's the 24 pin. We already have that connected. It says no need to install CPU and memory. Now I already installed the CPU and memory. So we're going to see what happens. Now, the thing about it is that it's not going to be full power to the motherboard, because we're only going to flip the switch, and it's just going to give enough power to be able to run the BIOS flashback, but it's not fully powering on the system because we're not shortening the board or anything like that. So just a little bit of power. So we should be okay. We should be. Okay, so we got the power supply. We have the 8 pin and the 24 pin connected. And on the back of the motherboard panel, so on the back of the panel, there's a specific USB port that's just for the actual flashing of the BIOS. It's funny because this BIOS flash, I don't know if it's for this one or if it's for this one. All right, so per the manual, it says number 11, which sits right next to the first USB-C. So it says number 11 is the flash BIOS port. So that means that on here, it's this one. That's the flash BIOS port. So we're gonna use that one. So the instructions says that we need to press the flash BIOS button to flash the BIOS, and the LED starts flashing. The LED will be turned off when the process is completed. So if it's anything like this motherboard, then it's probably gonna take about 5 to 7 minutes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip the switch on the power supply. I am going to hit there. So there's a button that says flash BIOS. I'm gonna press it, and there goes the red light. So it's flashing. Okay, so the flashing red stopped, and hopefully we should be all right. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this, turn the power supply back off, and let's get the case ready for the install. All right, so I was curious whether or not the CPU is gonna be hot. I did touch it, and it's definitely warm. So as a word of caution, if you have to do a BIOS flashback, if you have this board and you got a 14th gen CPU, make sure that you do not install the CPU and RAM first. Just skip that part, do the flashback of the BIOS first, then install the actual CPU and RAM after the fact. So hopefully we should be good to go. I'll know when we do our first boot and make sure I didn't cook the CPU. I could touch it without burning myself, but it is warm. The BIOS flashback took about 5 minutes. So yeah, just keep that in mind. All right, so here's the thing. I have a lot of NZXT cases for a while, and this is the H6 Flow. From what I've seen, this case is dual chamber and it's pretty dope. Let's take a look. Ooh, okay, I see your NZXT. It says right here that it supports ATX, MATX, ITX. And so that's pretty dope, but it does not support eATX. So if you have the extended ATX board, that's enough. So these fans here are set on intake. So we have 3 120 millimeter fans set for intake already. That comes with the case. It's pretty dope. We're going to use those. Down here at the bottom, this is the actual case itself. That's not a mesh that's built into the actual case itself. But these screw holes are only for 140 millimeter fans only. So you can't use, like if you already had some extra fans like I do, I'm glad I already had some 140 millimeter fans. So we're going to put 2 fans down here at the bottom to cool off the GPU. So 2 140 millimeter fans that's going to pull in air, 3 120s that's going to pull in air. I'm going to install a 120 here on the back that I already had. And then at the top, we're going to put our 360 AIO2 exhaust. And this actual top panel pops off. I was just playing around with it. Yep, easily pops off. It has the pins, so that's pretty dope. Take a look around the side and the back. We got the power button here, USB-A ports. I think these are 3.2, USB-C, and then we have the combo mic audio jack that's here on the front. Then we have the panel. So again, this panel pops off and we have the built-in mesh. So here on the back, we also have airflow. It's built-in mesh. So this should unscrew here and pop off. And it does. So down here, those actually slide out. So I was trying to bend and pop that off. All right, so here in the back, so we have the open area here, and it looks like we have some cable routing that's here. So that's pretty dope. The good thing about the dual chamber case is that you could be able to hide a lot of your cabling. So it looks like we have, I'm glad I'm looking at this right now. I think these are all connected to one cable that I could just plug into the motherboard. And then we actually have the front panel connectors, audio connector, and all that good stuff, USB, the weird thing. So the power supply goes right here. So it's gonna block part of the back of the motherboard. So whatever you need to do as far as AIO, make sure that you put the actual bracket on first to the back of the motherboard before installing it. And I'm glad I just thought about that too. It looks like you have to take this out to get to this, which should be all of our screws and everything, because it doesn't pop out. So it looks like you have to unscrew this, which is weird. You know, from a convenient standpoint, that is not convenient. But that has all your motherboard screws and all the screws that's needed for the case and everything. So that's taped in. But yeah, so it looks like we have some room down here at the bottom for the fans that we're going to put. Speaking of, those 140 millimeter fans is going to sit flush. So that's pretty dope. I just wish they gave the option to be able to install 120 millimeter fans as well. Okay, that's the case. Looks like it's going to be pretty good on airflow. And we'll definitely test that out once we get everything installed. Okay, first thing we're going to do is install these fans, 140 millimeter fans. This is the bottom of the case. And shout out to my boy Repo in the Discord. Definitely, he supplied me with these 140 millimeter fans. He actually gave me 4. So I think it was like 3 Arctics and 1 Lian. But I'm so happy I have these because it's PWM fans, and these are going to go at the bottom of the case for intake. Okay, and as you can see, these fit super flush. Oh man, so there's not any room for anything else down here, but it's cool. So as you can see, it's actually pretty cool. It sits flush with the actual case, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty dope. So normally I would have RGB fans, but For the sake of the cost on this bill, I definitely opted to go with what I had and what the case included, just in case you want to do this for yourself. But I'll definitely put links down in the description below for the recommended RGB fans. And I'm actually going to replace these soon with the SL120 unit fans, the Infinity. Yeah, so I'm gonna get two 140s, three 120s, and then another 120. Plus, I'm gonna get 3 of the 120s to go on the AIO. That's gonna be in a different video for upgrades, so you can see how those work. And what's great about those is that they, it's only gonna be like a few cables. They all connect together with one hub, and then boom, you'll be good. So let's go ahead and get the motherboard in, and let's finish up this build. Okay, let's go ahead and get this motherboard installed. Okay, that's looking good. All right, let's break out the AIO. We get the bracket and then the screws put on. Okay, so this is the Lian G82 Trinity 360. What's great about this AIO, the reason why I chose this is because this does have the newest L3 Connect support, and I'm going to buy some more Lian unit fans, and the fans already came pre-installed, which is great. These are RGB fans. And it also came with the bracket for Intel already default installed. But if you look on the box here, it talks about 3,200 RPM on the actual pump speed, which is great because you're going to need it for that 14900K. But also these fans, I think they get up to, if I'm not mistaken, I think they produce about 79 CFM. As far as the airflow. And so, yeah, that should definitely help out. So about to install the power supply. So what's great about this is modular. So I only need this SATA connector for the AIO, for the power. And then I have the 24 pin. And then I just have the 16 pin. And that's it, surprisingly. We don't need the 3/8 pins. If I decide to swap out and try another GPU in here, I may need that. But for right now, I don't need it, so I'm not going to plug it in. So that goes in there just like that. And let me go ahead and connect these. And I already put the actual back plate on the 14900K. So we should be good to go with that. Okay, let's install this AIO. So if you're using these, make sure that you use the side that actually has the dip for Intel, because once this is going to go on top of the screw, and that piece needs to be able to go on the inside. On the other side, there's no room for that. So you got to make sure that's done right. All right, we got the Cryonaut Extreme. Yep, this is 25 bucks. It's super expensive, but it's like some of the best paste that you could be able to get the coolest temps possible, because we're going to need it. That was the whole thing about getting the contact frame. I think the contact frame sometimes, depending on the situation, can help decrease the temp, I think 8 to 10 degrees. And this should help out maybe like another 3 to 4 degrees over, regular thermal paste. And this actual, this pump doesn't come with any pre-applied, so which is good. It did come with the actual spatula and some paste in the box, but of course we're not using it. So we got a pretty long tube. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do an X. We always do the X. Don't make fun of my X. Should be fine. Looks like it's a lot of paste, but we got the contact frame. We should be all right. All right, so make sure you peel that plastic off. It's like once you set this down, you don't want to move it. I was trying to screw it down enough where it would actually start the thread. And you just keep doing that until it's all tightened up. Yep, and you just tighten till you can't tighten anymore, and so we're good to go. Now I just need to route these cables to the back, and I gotta route the other cables to the front. Okay, the build is pretty much done. We just got to put in the GPU, and yeah, it's looking really good. Let's go 4090. Thick boy. I actually have a GPU bracket that came with my Gene board, and I may be able to use it if it's not too tall. Okay, I got the anti-sag bracket rest right there in the back, and we got the 16-pin connector, and we are done. Okay, I think we got a fine looking build here. Look at that. RTX 4090. So again, we got a 360 millimeter AIO. It's the Galhad 2 Trinity. 120 exhaust, 140 down here at the bottom intake, 3 120s intake. Got the 14900K. We got the 32 gigabytes CL30 6000 mega transfers. Yeah, we're looking good. We got the Mag Tomahawk Z790 board. Yeah, and RGB fans up at the top. So let's see if this thing boots. Oh, and I almost forgot. You know we got to do the peel. Lee. Clean. Okay, bill is done, and now let's see if she boots. Power's on, and oh, okay, we got. It's interesting because we got boot, but the LED on this fan is not working, so maybe we have to go inside. Once we get inside Windows, maybe it'll start working, but that's interesting that that's not working. The fan is spinning, but the LED is not working. But one thing for sure, the air is flowing. All the fans are working. That is for sure. Okay, we have boot. I'm happy. We have boot. So I'm in the BIOS here, man. The system looks amazing, but I'm in the BIOS here. The only thing that I changed in here was the expo settings for the RAM. That's pretty much it. I didn't change anything else. Everything else is on stock. Oh, I did actually go in here and tune the actual fans, and I actually have them set on PWM. So we got the pump, you have the system fan, system 2, system 3, system 5, and system 6. Of course, that's depending on how I have everything populated on the motherboard. It's different systems, a lot of fan headers on here, and I'm using not all of them, but a lot of them. And so, yep. Let's get inside Windows. Let me show you a couple of things. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to talk about real quick. So one of the things I want to show you, as I was setting up Windows, I ran into this issue here. Windows 11 got stuck in Let's Connect to a network, but there are no networks. So let me tell you what happened. I was using Ethernet cable, all this different type of stuff. It was not recognizing the actual internet connection. And come to find out, it's because the drivers, for some particular reason, even like the default drivers wasn't working. So what I had to do is this right here, and I'll put this link down in the description below. But on that screen, when you click on Shift +10 and then you type this in, it'll kind of restart the installation process over. Then once you get back to that area, it'll give you the option to skip without internet connection. Then you could install the drivers and stuff like that. So again, it helps when you have another computer already. So and this is my first time running into this, and I think it's just because of Intel and the particular board that I have. I don't know. All I know is that I was stuck and I was scratching my head for a while, but this is how you get past it. So quick Google search and Reddit search, and yeah, we was able to get through that. All right, next thing up is L-Connect 3. Now, the L-Connect 3, which is, a part of Lian Li, for some particular reason, I couldn't download this from Lian Li's website. The amount of downloads, it was weird because the actual software was coming off of a Google Drive, and this is on Lian Li's website. I don't know why they're not hosting their own software on their own service. Weird, super weird. But anyway, yeah, so it didn't work. So I had to come to Reddit, and then on their own Reddit account, I think I chose link 2, and I was able to download the software. So yeah, it's pretty weird. So speaking of this though, once you get into the L-Connect software, you remember when I did the first boot, this light, this LED on this fan wasn't working. So once I got inside here, I was able to customize everything. You could go in here and change the actual pump, fan speed, and this is pretty dope. You can actually go in here. It has different options and different profiles for high speed, full speed. And speaking of the actual pump, you can actually do fixed RPM, and it gets up to 3,200. Talked about that a little bit earlier. I switched that back over to PWM, but here you can also set these fans to full speed, and they actually get up to 2,500 RPM. Yeah, it's about 2,500 RPM. So yeah, this thing does its job for the 14900K. And speaking of, let me show you something real quick. So I've already done like my Cinebench. All right, so Cinebench R23, and as you can see, 40,625 for the multi-core, which is crazy. And then single core is 2,175. Man, those are crazy numbers. So the great thing about the 14900K is that it's an all-around CPU. And what I mean by that, all around, meaning that no matter what you're doing, if you're gaming, doing production work, video editing, it does everything on a high level. But if you wanted a CPU that does everything, 14900K. Now, there's some caveats that comes with that. I have hardware 64 over right here. So let me show you something real quick. So with the stock settings coming out of setting up the motherboard, like Intel, they like whatever that they're using, they got this thing where it just maxes out. Man, it like completely maxes out. It's like crazy. So let me show you the amount of power this CPU uses. It's insane. It's using all the cores, and so as you can see here, It's like core 0 through 7, which is the first 8 cores, is running at 5,686 megahertz, which is crazy. And then the actual, those are P cores, and then the E cores are like 4,389. So almost 4,400 almost. Look at this. So not only does the actual temp, as you can see here, CPU package hits 100 degrees. I think the max that I've ever seen that goes like 103, 102, 103. The cooler does its job. It doesn't go any higher than that, but look at the, where is it? CPU package power. Look at the high. That's the max right there, 367 watts. So right currently it's bouncing between 332, 342, but the max 367 watts. So you have to be able to cool that, and the L3 Connect software is doing the job. So you see fan speed is around about 2,500. Pump speed is 3,200. So if you was doing an all-core workload, now this is not normal, but if you was using this CPU for all-core workload, it does hit that. You know, sometimes when you have those situations with the shader compilation where it maxes out the CPU, it can get up to 100 degrees. Just keep that in mind. Kind of zips through those shader compilations because it has so many cores. So 24 cores, 32 threads. Okay, last but not least is the torture test. This is something new I'm about to start adding to all of my videos, you know, with the builds and stuff like that. So what we have here, we have Cinebench that's going. That's actually maxing out all of the cores. As you can see, 14900K is staying at 100 degrees, 1.26 volts, 330 watts, 100% maxed out, and we're still at 5,500 megahertz, which is crazy. And then we have the 4090 is maxed out. I got the power slider at 133%. Got the fan curve going with that, so the fans is going as fast as they can. I also have the L3 Connect software. I have the AIO maxed out, so 3,200 on RPM on the pump, and then 2,500 RPM on the fans. This is how it sounds. I don't know if you can hear that. It's pretty loud. All of the fans on the inside is it's on the PWM for the smart fan curve, so those should be maxed out as well. This is how you can be able to test your system. We're doing like 300 and some watts on the CPU, almost 600 watts on the GPU. The power supply is doing this thing, and it's been running like this for maybe about 5-7 minutes so far. And I think we're good to go. It's a pretty good build, and I'm excited about it. So we're going to see some more content. That's the 7800X 3D with the 7900 XTX over there on the side. And then we got the 14900K with the 4090. I got some more content that's going to be coming up real soon. Don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell so you receive all my notifications. We're almost at 10,000 subs. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the community and everything that you all do. Definitely make sure that you share this video as much as possible. And man, what a build for 2023. Peace.